the InfoWarrior with Jason Bermas. I want to remind everybody that I have a little website called the InfoWarrior.com that I'm starting to update again, and you can get the podcast of this program if you missed any of the radio broadcast. You can get the whole thing right after the show over at the InfoWarrior.com. I've got loaded phone lines, but I want to hit this story up before we get there because we're covering beyond ClimateGate. We're showing you the headlines every single week about how the UN doctored the evidence, faked the evidence, about how this is about world government and a global carbon tax on humanity. UN climate change claims on rainforests were wrong. Oh, really? Well, they were wrong on everything else from sea levels to the fact that carbon dioxide is a noxious poison. So it doesn't really surprise me that the United Nations has lied yet again, this time about the rainforest. The United Nations Climate Change Panel is facing fresh criticism after new research contradicted the organization's claims about the devastating effect climate change could have on the Amazon rainforest. A new study funded by NASA has found the most serious drought in the Amazon for more than a century had little impact on the rainforest vegetation. Really? Well, since there hasn't been any global warming, admittedly by the top UN scientist, Michael Mann, who wanted to commit suicide after he was outed, that's not a shocker. The emails read, there has been no global warming since 1995. Let me repeat that. No global warming since 1995. That's 15 years in the making. And then he says, it's not statistically significant. Sounds pretty statistically significant to this guy, the guy you're trying to tax, the guy you're trying to squeeze, the guy you're trying your mafia-esque tactics on. Sounds important to me. The findings appear to disprove claims that the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the IPCC, which would be the launching point for their high-level panel world government, was wrong. Oh, no kidding. That up to 40% of the Amazon rainforest could react drastically to even a small reduction in rainfall and could see the trees replaced by tropical grassland. The IPCC has already faced intense criticism for using a report by environmental lobby group WWF as the basis for its claims, which in turn had failed to cite the original source of the research, because they don't do scientific research. They do bilking the people. They do hypnotizing the public. They do propaganda placement for a global tax. That's how they roll. For the Talk Sport, your neighbor is a terrorist commercial. Hit the clip.
The following message is brought to you by Talk Sport and the Anti-Terrorist Hotline. The man at the end of the street doesn't talk to his neighbors much, because he likes to keep himself to himself. He pays with cash because he doesn't have a bank card. And he keeps his curtains closed because his house is on a bus route. This may mean nothing, but together it could all add up to you having suspicions. We all have a role to play in combating terrorism. If you see anything suspicious, call the confidential anti-terrorist hotline on 0800 789 321.
So to review,
report it.
If you suspect it, report it. So to review, if your neighbor isn't talking to you enough, closes his shades, and pays with cash, yes, the demon seed cash, he's a terrorist. That's the combo pack for terrorism. He doesn't talk to his neighbor. I don't talk to my neighbors. I don't know any of my neighbors. I don't know one of my neighbors. I met my neighbor across the street one time. The neighbor that lives to the left of me, I have no idea what their names are. I said hello the other day because my dog was barking at their dog, and they came out to get their dog. Hello. Am I a terrorist? I keep my windows shut. All of my curtains are closed. I like to pay with cash. In fact, I paid with cash today. Am I a terrorist? According to the Southern Poverty Law Center, probably, unfortunately. I want to get into this Guardian story. A Russian invasion scare sweeps Georgia after TV hoax. A Medi TV broadcaster provokes panic with report claiming Russian attack in progress. And this is War of the Worlds type propaganda. This is a beta test psyop that actually took place yesterday. Georgians rally in central Tbilisi against a local television channel's fake report of a Russian invasion which caused widespread panic. Switching on their TV sets at 8 p.m. on Saturday, Georgians were greeted with incredible news. Russia had invaded. The pro-government Medi TV, and this is a pro-government station, reported that Russian tanks were once more trundling into Georgia. Not only that, but the country's pro-Western leader, Mikhail Saakashvili, Mr. I love the New World Order. We need to create a new world order. Yes, he is in Invisible Empire, saying those two very things, had been murdered. Now remember, this is a pro-government station that is propagating that Russia is currently invading. They even played clips from 2008 when Dmitry Medvedev got on TV and said that Russia was going into Georgia because Georgia had snuck attacked South Ossetia. And the entire Western media reported that Russia snuck attacked South Ossetia and now invaded Georgia. No, it was the other way around. The reason that the media did that is because Georgia has the third largest amount of troops in the Middle East under our little Anglo-American empire. And Georgia would like very much to be a part of NATO. They are part of the establishment, the New World Order establishment. So they didn't want to tell you the truth there. They didn't want to tell you that Georgia went in and killed those people in South Ossetia and Russia defended itself. So over a year plus later, they spin it again with a fake report. For the next half hour, there were scenes of absolute panic as the mobile network collapsed, Georgians spilled onto the streets, and friends and relatives desperately tried to reach each other and seek out information. In fact, they needn't have bothered. The report, it turned out, was a hoax. The Kremlin hadn't invaded and Saakashvili had emerged was very much alive, not since Orson Welles persuaded Americans that the Martians had landed during his hysteria-sparking War of the Worlds radio broadcast had a whole nation been so duped. We'll go over this and much more on the other side. Call in 888-201-2244. It's the InfoWarrior with Jason Bermas, TV, Infowars.com.